Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews. Well, it's cold up. This is Kent with MrTruck.com. It's cold up here at Jackson Lake. The lake is froze over. Everything's froze over. I'm froze over. But it's a cool place just to come and take video. Now this is part 2 of the Ranger Tremor, the 2021. And this is towing. We're taking my Jeep and my tilt trailer. It's an 87 Wrangler, the first year of the Wrangler. It had lots of modifications, but it's a fun old rascal, and I'm modifying it and restoring it. And it's our ballast. That in the trailer weighs 7,500 pounds. So I'm right at the maximum for what this Ford Ranger Tremor can tow. And the Tremor tows the same as a regular Ranger, which is good. That way you can do a lot more stuff with it. You know, and it's an awesome truck. It's got that 2.3 4-cylinder turbo with 10-speed automatic. It's like a 373, so it's ready to tow. It's got tow haul mode, which tickles me. It's also got that blind side thing for your trailer, where the cameras can tell you somebody's sneaking around the outside of your trailer, which you really need on a mid-sized truck. So come join us for what we find out and how it tows. Well, there she is, the new Hitch from Gen Y. It is the Rebel. It's so much lighter than the other one, about half the weight, according to my hands. But it's just right. It's rated 7,000 pounds, and just perfect for this ATV trailer. Only gets up to 3,000 pounds. But the new Hitch, we'll be reviewing that a little more here in a separate video. This has tow haul mode button right there. I like that. So it's 2 places, and then you'll see it up on the dash up in the corner there. Tow haul mode, little picture of a trailer. Right there she is. That's good. I like that. And then you can see over on that side what gear I'm in. It's in 8th gear most of the time today when I'm pulling this trailer. So I've still got another couple overdrives to go, but I like having a gear selector. Today's my towing day with the Tremor, the Ranger 2021 from Ford, and it is got all this cool stuff. I wish it had a brake controller. It doesn't. I'm using the Echo, whatever it is from Curt, and that's surprisingly load. That helps a lot. These are 17-inch wheels, but they're a 32-inch tall tire, so that makes it good for off-road and a few other things. Of course, we talked about the 270 horsepower, 310 torque, but this has also got it's got a lot of trailering things I like. There's a part on here, I can't figure out what it's called, it's not written down anywhere, but it actually uses the cameras to do a blind spot monitoring. I don't know if it's part of the 360 package or whatever it is, but so when a car or something comes around the back corner of your trailer, it tells you, it alerts you that something's going on back there, which is especially good on a mid-sized truck because, you know, a little narrow and the trailer's a little wider. So it's good to have all that. But yeah, this thing, we're pulling 7,500 pounds. The trailer weighs 4,500. The Jeep weighs 3,000. That's 7,500. That's the maximum capacity of this truck, and it's doing well. Now they're saying, I looked at the manual and it tells you all these things, but it tells you that you don't need a weight distributing hitch. I actually looked at the hitch underneath there, and it tells you that 7,500 is weight carrying, WC. That means without a weight distributing hitch. And I'm surprised that I guess they have a lot of faith in this truck. But when I hooked it up, even with the weight distributing hitch, I was squatting like 3 inches. So if without the weight distributing hitch, you're probably closer to 4 inches, and that's too much. Your headlights shooting way up in the air, and you don't have the stability when you're squatting that much. So I disagree with them there. I think you need a weight distributing hitch on this at 7,500 pounds of trailer. But it's towing it well. That's not a problem. It's doing really well, cruising down the highway, and it's been a fun truck. And I'm, you know, actually the mirrors are the right size. They're big enough. They're bigger than most of these mid-sized trucks have. And I'm pulling a tilt trailer, so it's like a flat deck with this Jeep on there, which gives me a little bit of visibility if I was pulling an 8.5 foot wide box trailer car or an RV trailer. Most of your RV trailers, the conventional bumper poles, are 8.5 feet wide. So I'm liking this. Trying to figure out how to get on this highway. So I have no problem with handling. I've got the good brakes. They're working well on the Curt system. So I don't know. I like it. Actually, it's an all-around good truck for off-roading, which we did earlier, and for towing trailers. And then, yeah, I think a perfect trailer would be, you know, like a couple of Sea-Doos or...
Don't go away, Mr. Truck.tv. We'll be right back.
This is my temporary brake controller. The Ranger does not have a brake controller. So I have this. This is the Echo Curtis. It's the Curt Echo. And I have this into my phone, so I can push this button here and it'll lock the brakes up. I can use it to hold on to the brakes so I can manually control them. But it is so awesome. Really quick hooking up. I just downloaded the app and then plugged it in and plugged the trailer into it, and we were ready to go. The light came on, said it was all working. Yeah, and on this Curt Echo, it gives me a number, and that's how I pair it. I put that number in there. Ah, look at this Ranger. It's got outlets all over. It's got 2 USB ports down there in the hole where your phone charger is. It's a big phone charger. You can put apples in there. Some of these Chevys I've had, you couldn't put nothing but a small phone. And then also, you got 2 12-volt outlets up higher. And I got that one hooked into my tire pressure monitoring system, which, where is it? From Tucson. It tells me the air pressure and the heat in my trailer tires. I use this all the time. I love it. Heat and temperature. What else do you want to know? So there's my Curt Echo. It's this big long thing. You plug it into your trailer plug in the back of the truck, and you plug your trailer into that. And it even has this rubber strap that wraps around. See if I can see it up there. The rubber strap wraps around the door on the 7-way plug coming out of the truck. But anyway, there it is. There's my Echo. See? So it kind of holds it in place. So it's stayed on there in this trip so far. But it was so easy to install. I just downloaded the app into my Apple phone and then plugged it in, and the green light came on. Everything was wonderful in the world. Pretty simple if you don't have a brake controller like this Ranger. It does not have a factory brake controller. It has one you can buy through a dealer. So anyway, it does handle really well. I don't have any problems. I like the size of these mirrors. For a non-towing mirror, they're great. You got plenty of visibility. Now I'm pulling it's an 8.5 foot wide tilt trailer, but tilt trailer, it's a flat deck, so you get all that visibility over the fender. So this is really good. I don't think I need towing mirrors. I almost bought some accessory ones just to be safe, but I looked at it and I decided I didn't need it. But it's pretty cool for towing, and the brakes are good. The brake controller I put on the plug is working well, but I'm not having any controlling it well. That's what I decided to do with it. So anyway, it's I think it's towing the way I've got it set up just right. And it's got tow haul mode, which you need. It's got 10-speed automatic. And most of the time with this trailer, it's 7500. I'm running about 8th gear most of the time. I love that the Ford has the gears so you can see what's going on. But I've really not in the mountains. If I was in the mountains, I would know more about how tow haul mode is working. But out here in the flats, out here in the plains, running around, and you know, it's doing fine. So a real test would have been the mountains, but I just didn't have time for that. So here we are. This is a multi-purpose truck. You can drive to work in it weekends. You can go play in the mountains, and then, you know, if you need to go camping or whatever, you can tow a trailer with it. But you always want to be careful on these wide trailers. On a narrower truck, you know, you might have a little sway. So that's another reason to have a weight distributing, so you get your with sway control. I'm pretty much sold on that. And that was interesting. Some of the events I've gone to, I would see weight distributing hitch on 3/4 ton trucks. And normally I didn't think they needed it, but it was a windy condition, and that makes a lot of sense. If you're in wind, and it seems like Colorado now, we're always in the wind, then you need good sway control on a weight distributing hitch, because pulling a big box trailer, cargo trailer, or an RV trailer, you tend to move around. So I used to be, I didn't really like taking the time to hook up to a weight distributing hitch, but now I'm sold on it. I'm sold on the safety, and I'm sold on, you get the right one, it hooks up pretty fast. So that's what I do. I use the trailer jack to take pressure up the spring bars or chain, whichever one I'm using, and it makes it much quicker hooking up. So that's how we are. Well, pulled this trailer all day today, and it was fine. I got the brake controller adjusted right. I wish they had a factory brake controller. That'd make me very happy. Trucker Dan, my friend who helps me once in a while doing videos and such, he's going to be doing an install video on his Ranger, which would be really cool for a brake controller that they bought, through a Ford dealer. But yep, 7,500 pounds. Did fine with a 1-inch lift. It wasn't a problem. That trailer blind spot really works nice. It tells you when somebody's sneaking up on your corners. And these, like I say, these mid sizes are narrower than full size, and it's nice to know when they're coming up there, because you're probably not going to see it out your mirror. But I didn't have to, for this particular trailer, I didn't have to buy extended mirrors, because these were actually pretty long mirrors, pretty good. And it's got that about 1 inch wider. It's got those lips, on the fenders, and I like that. I always like a little wider truck, even though it's a mid-size. This particular Tremor package, it's about 1 inch wider. And these big old tires, they're a 32-inch tire. It's got recovery hooks. Somebody needs to pull me out, which I hope they don't. And it's got that bash plate, even for a trailering truck. We live out in the middle of sagebrush and sand hills. And if you got to drive out in a sagebrush, you want all the skid plates you can get, because that's almost like miniature trees. I've done that with Power Wagon, where I went through and hit one big old sagebrush and poked a hole in the sidewall. So yeah, that's not much fun. It's got plenty of power. The 270 horsepower, and that 310 torque is really good. And that's what you want. The torque is what makes you tow trailers, and I can accelerate with this and no problem. And like, it's got a bed liner. It's a sprayed-in bed liner, so I can throw my junk in the back. Whether it's straps or whatever it is. We got a couple 3 tie downs on this Jeep holding it on there. But I got 1430 payload, which on 7,500 at 10%, that's 750. So I got about twice what my tongue weight is left over after you put the trailer weight on this truck. So I can haul another 700 pounds or whatever that is. Which, I'm not quite that big, but that means I can haul 2 or 3 people like I do with my grandkids. And the shocks are fine. We went over some pretty rough roads today and didn't have a problem with that. But, it's too small of a tank, though. I think it's 18 gallon. So I've had to put gas in this several times this week, and that's part of the problem. It's got too small of a gas tank. Pretty sure that's what it is 18. I can never find all my notes, but that's how I remember it. But it needs a little bigger tank, and I know there's not much room down there, and that's why all these things happen. There's a reason, the way they build these trucks. But it's 7,500, which is very unusual. But it's an 18-gallon tank. It tells you in there when you're full loaded trailer not to go over 62 miles an hour. And I thought, who drives 62? Colorado, it's 75. Some places it's 80, Montana and part of Texas. I think part of Utah. So how do I drive 62? And you got to watch it, especially with the trailer. When for the first 1,000 feet, I guess they give that to you. Then every 1,000 feet over that, you lose 3% of your towing capacity. So say at 10,000 feet, you're close to 300 pounds. At 10,000 feet, actually, you lose a little less because that first 1,000 is free. So 10 becomes 9,000 times 3%. And if you're ever, it's really weird is they have, you never see a bumper rating, but this one had it in the owner's manual. It was 3,500 pounds. I've seen Ram do that before, but it's so unusual to get a tow rating on something without a receiver hitch. And of course, they want you to have a full trailer brake, which we've done. Without a brake, you can only tow a 1650. 1,650. That's, you know, that's like my right thigh. So anyway, I like to see one of these with a decal kit. Now the tie downs, you know, we hold a 4-wheeler in the back, an ATV, up in the mountains when we were off-roading, and each one of those tie downs, there's 4 big ones, plus if you have a rail, there's 661 pounds capacity per rail. That's a lot. That gets you over your payload by quite a bit. But anyway, running boards are okay, and these shorter, I mean, this is a tall truck, but it's so weird because the running board usually are up higher, and you step on it and you go way above the roof, then you got to tuck yourself back in. Kind of a little different thing. And I love the switches because, you know, a lot of times you'd want to put a winch or spotlights or, you know, some trailering things on here, and they're all fused. I need it. And you can get some pretty high amperage on there. It's 25. I suppose they're 400 watt like everything else is on these trucks. But I hope you enjoyed the review. I had fun with it. You know, I've owned several Rangers in the old days. A lot of the, you know, the old ones. I've put 400,000 on one of them, the old square body. And you know, I once in a while I look for a used one just for fun because I always liked Rangers. Had many of them. I'd have to count them up someday, but I have more Rangers than any other truck, and I'm not sure why. Back in the old days, they got great gas mileage. I'm not sure if that's true today. But anyway, I gotta go.
If you have a short bed truck, you know it's not easy to hook up to a gooseneck. Pop-Up came out with these extensions from 9 inches to 16 inches to keep you from breaking out your back window when you're pulling a gooseneck trailer. And everybody uses a short bed. That's the most proper truck there is a crew cab short bed. So protect that window.